I faked my death and live streamed my own funeral from inside the coffin. For 2 hours, I listened to my children laugh about cremating my body for the insurance money. Then, during the will reading, when they thought they'd won, I sat up in the coffin and said, I heard every single word. I'm Diane. I'm 61 years old. I have $15 million. And I just came back from the dead to destroy my children. 6 months ago, Dr. Patterson sat across from me in his office. His face had that look, the I'm about to ruin your life look. Diane, it's stage 3, ovarian cancer. We can try treatment, but how long? I cut him off. 6 to 12 months, maybe less. I didn't cry. I'm not the crying type. I've buried 2 husbands, raised 4 children alone, built a $15 million real estate empire from nothing. Cancer wasn't going to break me. But what happened next? That did. Within 24 hours, all 4 of my children showed up at my house: David, my oldest; Grace, my middle daughter; Marcus, my youngest son; and Lisa, my baby. Tears. Hugs. Mom, we're here for you, I thought, finally. After years of being too busy for Sunday dinners, too occupied for holidays, they're showing up. They care. I was so wrong. 2 days later, everything changed. I was upstairs in my bedroom, supposedly napping, but I heard voices downstairs, loud voices. I crept to the top of the stairs and listened. It was David, on the phone, with someone. No, she's not dead yet. The doctor said 6 to 12 months. Pause. Of course I'm upset. Do I sound upset to you? I'm just being realistic. Another pause. Look, the house alone is worth $8 million. The rental properties, another $4 million. Investment accounts, stocks, her business. We're looking at $15 million minimum. My blood ran cold. Split 4 ways, that's almost $4 million each. Rachel, we can finally retire, pay off the house, get the kids through college without loans. Rachel, his wife. He was planning my estate division while I was still breathing. I know, but we have to wait, and we have to play nice. Visit her, bring flowers. Act concerned. The last thing we need is for her to change the will. I stood there, frozen. My own son, my firstborn, talking about my death like it was a business transaction, but I didn't confront him. Not yet. Because a terrible, beautiful idea was forming in my mind. That same week, my daughter Grace came to help me organize my paperwork. Mom, we should really go through your files. Just to make sure everything's in order. Just in case. In case I die, I said. She flinched. Mom, don't say it like that. We sat in my office. She pulled out folders, bank statements, property deeds, insurance policies. Mom, do you have a list of all your assets, like everything you own? Why do you need that? Just so we know, for planning purposes. Planning purposes. Like planning a funeral. My funeral. She found my life insurance policy. $2 million. Her eyes widened. Mom, is this current? Yes, why? Nothing. It's just, that's a lot of money. She took a photo of it with her phone. I saw her. She didn't think I noticed, but I did. That night I called my lawyer, James Martinez. We'd worked together for 30 years. James, I need you to do something for me. Something unusual. How unusual? I want to fake my death. Silence. Diane, are you serious? Completely. I need to know what my children will do when I'm gone, what they'll say, how they'll act, and I need evidence. Evidence for what? For when I come back from the dead and destroy them. Dr. Patterson is more than my doctor. He's my friend. We went to college together. He's one of the few people I trust completely. I explained the plan. You want me to fake your death certificate? Temporarily. Just for a week, maybe 2. Diane, this is illegal. I could lose my license. Mark, these are my children. They're waiting for me to die so they can cash in. I need to know the truth. I need proof. He sighed. What exactly are you proposing? Here's what we planned. Phase 1. I would deteriorate rapidly, hospice care at home, bedridden, barely conscious. Phase 2, Dr. Patterson would declare me dead, issue a death certificate. But I'd actually be sedated, not dead. Slow my heart rate, breathing, enough to fool everyone except a trained medical professional. Phase 3, funeral, open casket, but inside the casket, hidden cameras, microphones, recording everything. Phase 4, during the will reading, I wake up, stand up, reveal everything. This is insane, Dr. Patterson said. I know. It could go wrong in 100 ways. I know. You could actually die. Mark, I'm already dying. This way, at least I'll know who they really are before I go. He looked at me for a long moment, then he nodded. Okay, but we do this my way. Safe medical protocols, no actual risk to your life. Deal. The next call I made was to Thomas Chin, tech expert, former FBI, now runs a private security firm. Diane, what you're asking for is creative. Can you do it? Put cameras inside a coffin? Yeah, but why? I explained. Thomas whistled. Your kids sound delightful. Can you make it work? I need full audio and video. Multiple angles, high definition, and it needs to live stream to a secure server. How long does the funeral last? 2, maybe 3 hours. Battery life won't be an issue. I'll use micro cameras, fiber optic lenses, built into the coffin lining. They'll never see them. And the microphones? I'll place them in the flowers the casket handles. Even your jewelry. You'll be wearing a necklace with a mic built in. Perfect. But Diane, here's the thing. You're going to be in that coffin awake, listening to everything. Are you sure you want to hear what they'll say? I thought about David's phone call, Grace photographing my insurance policy, Marcus asking about the rental properties, Lisa wanting to know where I kept my jewelry. I'm sure. Okay, but one more thing. The casket needs to be modified. If you're in there for 2 hours, you'll need air circulation, a panic button, a way to communicate if something goes wrong. He designed it all tiny air vents disguised as decorative brass fittings, a wireless panic button in my hand, a 2-way radio earpiece so he could talk to me from the control room. You'll be completely safe, Thomas assured me. Uncomfortable, but safe. The cost? $50,000, worth every penny. Over the next 3 weeks, I played my part perfectly. Week 1, I got weaker, started using a walker, stopped going to my office, spent most days in bed. Week 2, hospice nurse arrived. I hired someone Dr. Patterson recommended, someone who was in on the plan. She came daily, took my vitals, gave me medication, actually just vitamins, and told my children, she's declining fast. Week 3, I barely spoke, kept my eyes closed most of the time, whispered when I had to talk, lost 10 pounds, made myself look skeletal. My children? They visited every day, but I was listening, always listening. David to Grace in the hallway. How much longer do you think? Grace. The nurse said maybe a week. 2 at most. David. Good. I mean, not good, but we can't keep taking time off work forever. Marcus to his wife on the phone in my living room. Yeah, she's almost gone. I'll be back home next week with a check, a big one. Lisa, my youngest, the one I thought might actually care, talking to her boyfriend in my driveway. I know it's sad, but honestly, I'm relieved. She's been so demanding, and now, finally, we can sell this huge house and split the money. Every word felt like a knife. But I didn't cry. I didn't react. I just memorized every cruel sentence. On day 21, Dr. Patterson came to the house, checked my vitals, looked at my children with a grave face. I'm sorry, she's gone. The performance was perfect. He'd given me a sedative, slowed my heart rate to almost nothing, controlled my breathing. To anyone watching, I looked dead. My children cried, convincing tears, Oscar-worthy performances, but I knew the truth, and soon, so would everyone else. The funeral was scheduled for 3 days later. Viewing at 2 p.m., service at 3, will reading at 5. The night before, Thomas and his team worked on the coffin, cameras installed, microphones hidden, panic button tested, air vents functional. Dr. Patterson gave me the sedative schedule. You'll wake up about an hour before the service. You'll be groggy but conscious. The earpiece will be active. I'll talk you through everything. The morning of the funeral, I took the first sedative. Everything went dark. When I woke up, I was inside the coffin, pitch black, silent. For a moment, I panicked. Couldn't breathe, couldn't move. Then Dr. Patterson's voice in my ear. Diane, you're okay. Breathe. Slow, deep breaths. You're safe. I focused. Breathed. Calmed down. Can you hear me? He asked. I clicked the panic button once. Yes. Perfect. The viewing is starting in 10 minutes. I'm going to show you the camera feeds. A tiny screen, no bigger than a watch face. Lit up inside the coffin lid, I could see the funeral home. Rows of chairs, flowers everywhere. My children arriving. Thomas's voice now. Diane, all systems are working. Cameras are recording. Audio is crystal clear. Live stream is active and secure. I'm recording everything to 3 separate servers. Even if they somehow found one camera, we have backups. I clicked twice. Understood. Then the viewing began. People came. Friends, colleagues, old neighbors. They stood over my coffin, looking down at my body, saying kind things. She was such a generous woman. She helped me start my business. She was a pillar of this community. But my children? They were in the corner, talking. I could hear every word through the microphone in my necklace. David to Grace. Did James say when he's reading the will? Grace. 5 o'clock right after the service. David. And he didn't give you any hints about what's in it? Grace. No, but it should be split evenly. 4 ways, unless she did something crazy. Marcus joined them. What if she left it all to charity? She threatened that once. David. She was bluffing. Mom wouldn't do that to us. We're her children. Lisa. Even if she did, we can contest it, right? We can argue she wasn't in her right mind. My own daughter, plotting to contest my will, before it was even read. Then I heard something that made my blood boil. David's wife, Rachel, talking to someone I didn't recognize. Honestly, I'm just relieved Diane was so difficult the last few years. Always calling, always needing something. It was exhausting. Grace's husband. The real question is, what do we do with all her stuff? The house is full of junk. Junk, my antiques, my art collection, my mother's china. Junk. But the worst was yet to come. The service started. A minister I didn't even know gave a generic eulogy. Talked about how I loved my family and lived a full life. Then it was time for family to speak. David went first, tears streaming down his face. My mother was the strongest woman I ever knew. She taught me everything about hard work, about never giving up. Lies, all lies. I taught him by example, maybe. But he never listened. Grace spoke next, talked about precious memories of baking cookies together. We never baked cookies, not once. Marcus read a poem. Something about angels in heaven. I'm not even religious. Lisa didn't speak. Said she was too emotional. Probably true. She was probably calculating her inheritance share. After the service, most people left. A few stayed. My children and their spouses, the lawyer, the funeral director. Then I heard something that changed everything. The funeral director to David. So, we're proceeding with cremation tomorrow? Wait, what? I'd specified in my will. Burial, family plot, next to my late husband. David. Yes, cremation. My mother changed her mind before she died. She told us she wanted to be cremated. That was a lie. I never said that. The funeral director. I'll need that in writing. A change of plans requires Grace. We have it. Mom signed a form. I'll email it to you tonight. Forged. It had to be forged, but why? Why cremation instead of burial? Then I heard Rachel whisper to David. Are you sure about this? David quietly. The insurance pays out faster if it's cremation. No cemetery costs. No burial delays. We can file the claim tomorrow and have the money within a week. Insurance. They were cremating me for the insurance money. My own children were going to burn my body to speed up their payday. I was so angry I almost hit the panic button. Almost sat up right then and there. but Dr. Patterson's voice in my ear. Diane, breathe. Stay calm. We have it all on recording. Every word, just a little longer. I breathed, and I waited. At 4:30, they moved the coffin to a private room. The will reading would happen at 5. Thomas's voice. Diane, I'm in position camera on the lawyer. Camera on your kids. This is it. You ready? One click. Yes. Dr. Patterson. 30 minutes, Diane. In 30 minutes, we open the coffin. I'll be right there. Just say the word and I'll get you out early if you need. 2 clicks. I'm fine. I wasn't fine. I was furious. Heartbroken, betrayed. But I was also ready. At 4:45, people started entering the room. James, my lawyer, setting up his papers. David, Grace, Marcus, Lisa taking seats in front of the coffin. Why in front of the coffin? Why not move it out? Then I understood. The funeral director had explained it as per Mrs. Anderson's wishes. I'd actually told James to include it in my instructions. One last request. My family gathers around me for the will reading. They thought it was sentimental. It wasn't. It was strategic. James cleared his throat. Thank you all for being here. I know this is difficult. Before we begin, I want to say that your mother was an extraordinary woman, and she left very specific instructions for today. David. Just read the will, James. James. Of course. But first, there's a video message. From Diane. She recorded it 2 months ago. I didn't record any video message. What was James doing? Then I heard my own voice. Coming from speakers in the room. It was a recording I'd made weeks ago, following the plan. My voice. If you're hearing this, I'm dead. Or maybe I'm not. David, Grace, Marcus, Lisa. I love you. I always have. But I need to know something. I need to know if you loved me. Or if you just love my money. Silence in the room. My recorded voice continued. So here's what's going to happen. James is going to read my will. And then you're going to find out exactly what I think of you. James began reading. I, Diane Anderson, being of sound mind, standard legal language assets, properties, accounts. Then, to my son David, I leave the sum of $1. David's face went white. What? To my daughter Grace, I leave the sum of $1. Grace stood up. This is a mistake. Mom wouldn't. To my son Marcus, I leave the sum of $1. Marcus, what the hell is this? To my daughter Lisa, I leave the sum of $1. Lisa started crying. Real tears this time. The remainder of my estate, valued at approximately $15 million, I leave to the following charities. David exploded. No, this is bullshit. She wasn't in her right mind. We're contesting this. Grace. She was manipulated. Someone got to her. James. If you'll let me finish. David. Finish what? You just gave away our inheritance to strangers? That's when Dr. Patterson and Thomas entered the room. Thomas walked to the coffin. Actually, gentlemen, ladies, before you contest anything, there's someone who wants to speak with you. He opened the coffin lid. I sat up. The screams. Oh, the screams. Grace actually fainted. Just dropped to the floor. Marcus stumbled backward, hit a chair, fell. David stood frozen, mouth open. Face the color of paper, Lisa screamed. She's alive! Mom's alive! I looked at each of them, my children, my betrayers, and I said, I heard every word. The room erupted in chaos. David, Mom, you're alive? Grace from the floor. I think I'm going to be sick. Marcus, what the hell is happening? I stepped out of the coffin. Dr. Patterson helped me down. I was shaky, but steady enough. Sit down, I said. All of you. Now. They sat, slowly, like children caught stealing cookies. James, show them. James connected his laptop to the projector. The wall lit up with video. This, I said, is footage from 40 cameras installed in my house, my hospital room, and yes, inside that coffin. For the past 6 weeks, I've recorded everything. Every conversation, every phone call, every whispered plan. The video played. First clip. David on the phone talking about the $15 million. We're looking at $4 million each. David's face, horror. Second clip. Grace photographing my insurance policy. Grace. Mom, I can explain. Shut up, I said, not yelling, calm, cold. Just watch. Third clip. Marcus talking about selling the junk. Fourth clip. Lisa saying she was relieved I was dying because I was demanding. Fifth clip. Rachel calling me difficult and exhausting. Sixth clip. David's voice. Just die already so we can move on. The room was dead silent except for the audio from the videos. Seventh clip. The funeral director conversation. The cremation plan. David admitting it was for faster insurance payout. By the time it ended, Grace was sobbing. Marcus had his head in his hands. David was staring at the wall. Lisa wouldn't look at me. Do you know, I said quietly, what it's like to lie in a coffin and listen to your children plot to burn your body for insurance money? Silence. Do you know what it feels like to hear your daughter call your life's possessions junk? More silence. Do you understand the level of betrayal I experienced, lying there, supposedly dead, listening to you calculate how to spend my money? David finally spoke. Mom, we didn't mean... Yes, you did. You meant every word. Because you thought I couldn't hear you. You thought I was dead. And you showed your true selves. James stepped forward. There's more. The cremation plan, that's fraud. Forging Diane's signature on a cremation authorization form is a felony. David went pale. We didn't forge. Yes, you did, I said. I never signed anything, and I have handwriting experts ready to testify. James continued. The attempted theft of funds through insurance fraud carries a penalty of up to 10 years in prison. Grace. Prison. Mom, you can't be serious. I'm deadly serious. Grace, you photographed my private insurance documents. David, you forged legal documents, Marcus. You and your wife discussed hiding assets. Lisa, you conspired with all of them. My lawyer. However, Diane has agreed not to press criminal charges on one condition. They all looked up, hope in their eyes. You sign away any and all rights to contest the will. You take your $1 each. You never contact Diane again, and you publicly apologize. Publicly? Marcus asked. Marcus. A written statement, James said. Admitting what you did. We'll send it to everyone at the funeral. Everyone who heard your fake eulogies. They deserve to know the truth. David stood up. And if we don't? Then I press charges, I said. Every single one of you goes to prison, and I make sure every news outlet in the state knows why. How the wealthy Anderson children tried to cremate their mother early for insurance money. The threat hung in the air. One by one, they signed. The statement went out 3 days later. We, the children of Diane Anderson, wish to publicly apologize. Our behavior during our mother's illness was inexcusable. We were motivated by greed, not love. We planned to cremate her against her wishes for financial gain. We spoke cruelly about her when we thought she couldn't hear. We are deeply ashamed. It was in the local newspaper, sent to every person who attended the funeral, posted on social media. The scandal was enormous. David lost his job. His company didn't want to be associated with someone who tried to commit insurance fraud. Grace's husband left her. Apparently, he didn't know about the cremation plan. When he found out, he filed for divorce. Marcus's business partners cut ties with him. His reputation was destroyed. Lisa lost custody of her daughter in her own divorce proceedings. The judge cited moral character concerns. I didn't celebrate their suffering, but I didn't feel sorry for them either. 6 months have passed. My cancer? In remission. Turns out aggressive treatment worked. The doctors are calling it a miracle. I'm calling it karma. My children, I haven't spoken to them. They've tried to reach out, letters, emails, lawyers offering to negotiate. I've ignored all of it. The charities I left my money to, they're doing incredible work. Women's shelter, cancer research, scholarships for underprivileged kids. Every month I get reports on how my $15 million is changing lives. It feels better than anything my children could have done with it. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night, a question I can't answer. Did I break them? Or were they always broken? Were they good people corrupted by greed? Or were they always this way and I just never saw it? I raised them, fed them, educated them, loved them. Where did I go wrong? Or did they do this to themselves? Here's what I want to know from you, because I genuinely don't have the answer. If your parent faked their death to test you, would you pass? Think about it honestly. If your mother or father was lying in that coffin listening, what would you say? Would you mourn them genuinely? Or would you calculate the inheritance? Would you honor their wishes? Or would you cremate them early for insurance money? Leave a comment. Tell me the truth. Because I need to know if my children were uniquely terrible, or if this is just human nature when money is involved. 2 months ago, something happened that I didn't expect. My granddaughter showed up at my door. Sophie, David's daughter, 23 years old. I hadn't seen her since the funeral. Grandma, can I talk to you? I almost closed the door, but something in her eyes stopped me. We sat in my living room. The house felt too big, too empty these days. I saw the videos, she said. The footage from the funeral. Dad showed me everything. And I'm ashamed, not of you, of him, of my mom, of everyone. She started crying. Grandma, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what they were planning. I was away at college. When I came home for the funeral, I thought you had actually died. I mourned you. I believed her. Sophie, you don't need to apologize for them. But I do, because I'm their daughter, and because I want to know if you'll give me a chance. Not for money. I don't want your money. I just want to know my grandmother. We talked for hours about her life, her dreams, her disgust at what her father did. He tried to justify it, she said. Told me you were cruel for tricking them. I told him no. They were cruel for planning to burn you alive if you'd actually been in that coffin during cremation. She'd thought of something I hadn't. If I'd actually been dead and they'd cremated me, and something went wrong with the sedation, I could have woken up in the cremation chamber. My children had been willing to risk burning me alive for faster insurance money. Sophie saw the look on my face. Grandma, don't think about that. They're not worth it. She stayed for dinner, came back the next week, and the week after that. Now she visits every Sunday. She's in my new will, not for $15 million, but enough to start her life, pay off her student loans, buy a house someday. The will specifies, to my granddaughter Sophie, who chose love over greed. Here's my second question for you. If one family member chooses differently, do they deserve forgiveness while the others don't? Sophie didn't participate in the cremation plan, but she's still David's daughter. She benefited from the same inheritance expectations. Does her rejection of their behavior absolve her? Or is she tainted by association? Comment below. Because I'm still figuring this out myself. Last month, a documentary filmmaker contacted me. She wanted to make a film about the funeral stunt, about the surveillance, about what my children did. Your story is incredible, she said. People need to hear it. I said no. Not because I'm ashamed, but because I don't want to give my children any more attention. They don't deserve it. They've tried to sell their own story. The children, who were betrayed by their mothers, cruel test. No network would buy it. Turns out, insurance fraud isn't sympathetic. But here's what I am doing. I'm writing a book. Every detail, every recording, every moment in that coffin, all proceeds go to charity. The title? The Funeral Test. What my children said when they thought I was dead. It comes out next month. My children will hate it, but they can't stop it. It's all true. It's all documented. It's all legal. And maybe, just maybe, it'll make someone else think twice before planning their parents' estate while they're still breathing. Third question. Would you read that book? Would you want to know what your family said when they thought you were dead? Or is some knowledge better left unknown? Because here's the thing. I can never unhear what I heard. Those words are burned into my memory forever. Sometimes I wish I'd just died peacefully, never knowing how they really felt. Would ignorance have been bliss? Or am I better off knowing the truth? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think. You know what the hardest part is? It's not the betrayal. It's not the cremation plan. It's not even the cruelty. It's the memories. Because I remember when David was 5 years old and he used to climb into my bed during thunderstorms, I'd hold him and tell him he was safe. I remember when Grace was 7 and she made me a Mother's Day card that said, "You're the best mommy in the whole world." I remember when Marcus was 10 and he saved his allowance for 3 months to buy me a necklace for my birthday. I remember when Lisa was 16 and she told me, "Mom, I want to be just like you when I grow up." Were those moments real? Or was I seeing what I wanted to see? Were my children ever good? Or were they always calculating, always waiting for me to die so they could cash in? I don't have answers. All I know is this: the people who stood over my coffin planning my cremation for insurance money are not the children I remember. Either they changed or I never really knew them at all. Both options break my heart. Fourth question: when someone betrays you this deeply, do you mourn the person they were or accept that they were always this person and you just didn't see it? Because I'm stuck between grief and anger. I'm grieving the children I thought I had, but I'm angry at myself for not seeing who they really were. Which emotion wins, grief or anger? Comment below. Maybe your answer will help me figure out mine. Last week, James came to see me. "Diane, I need to warn you about something." "What now?" "Your children are planning to sue, not to contest the will. That ship has sailed, but for emotional distress. They're claiming the funeral stunt traumatized them." I laughed. Actually laughed. "Let them sue. I have video of them planning insurance fraud. No jury will side with them." "That's what I told them," James said. "But they're desperate. David lost his job. Grace is divorced. Marcus's business failed. Lisa's in a custody battle. They're broke." "Good." James looked at me. "Diane, you're not usually this cold." "I'm not cold, James. I'm just done. For 61 years, I gave them everything: love, money, opportunities. And the second they thought I was dead, they tried to burn my body for insurance money. I think I'm entitled to be done." He nodded. "Fair enough. But be prepared. This might get uglier before it gets better." "Let it get ugly. I recorded everything. They can't win." But the truth? I'm tired. Tired of the legal battles. Tired of the anger. Tired of being betrayed by the people I loved most. Some days, I wish I'd never done the funeral stunt, never installed the cameras, never heard what they said. Some days, I wish I just died peacefully, believing my children loved me. But most days I'm glad I know the truth, because at least now I'm not wasting my love on people who don't deserve it. Fifth and final question: if you had a choice between dying with comfortable lies or living with painful truth, which would you choose? Because that's the choice I made, and I still don't know if it was the right one. Truth gave me clarity, but it also gave me heartbreak. Lies would have given me peace, but they would have been fake. Which is worse? Comment your answer. I really want to know. It's been almost a year since the funeral. My book comes out next week. The publisher says pre-orders are through the roof. Sophie is graduating from college this month. I'm paying for her master's degree. My cancer is still in remission. The doctors say I might have 10 more years. Maybe more. I sold the big house. Too many memories. Too many rooms where I heard them plotting. I bought a smaller place by the lake. 2 bedrooms. One for me. One for Sophie when she visits. The charities I funded, they've helped thousands of people. Kids going to college who couldn't afford it. Women escaping domestic violence. Cancer patients getting treatment. My $15 million is doing more good now than it ever would have in my children's bank accounts. Do I have regrets? Some days, yes. I regret that I raised children who value money over their mother. But most days, no. Because I learned something important in that coffin, listening to them plan my cremation. Love is a choice, and they chose not to love me. So I chose not to leave them my life's work. Fair trade. Here's what I want you to understand. This isn't a story about revenge. It's a story about truth. I didn't punish my children to be cruel. I punished them because they were planning to commit fraud, burn my body against my wishes, and cash in on my death. That's not love. That's not family. That's theft and betrayal. And yes, I tested them. But here's the thing. Good people pass tests like this without even knowing they're being tested. Good people don't discuss insurance payouts while their mother is supposedly dying. Good people don't forge cremation documents to speed up inheritance. Good people don't call their parents' life possessions junk. My children failed the test because they were already failing at being decent human beings. The surveillance just exposed what was already there. So, to anyone saying I was cruel for faking my death, I disagree. You know what's cruel? Waiting for your mother to die so you can spend her money. You know what's cruel? Planning to burn her body for faster insurance claims. You know what's cruel? Saying, just die already while she's listening. I just gave them the opportunity to show their true selves. And they did. If you're watching this, maybe you're wondering if your family would do the same thing. Maybe you're scared to find out. Here's my advice. Don't test them the way I did. You don't need to fake your death to know if people love you. Just pay attention. Listen to how they talk about you when they think you can't hear. Watch how they treat you when you have nothing to offer. Notice who shows up when you need help, not just when you have money. Real love doesn't wait for death to show itself. Real love is present, patient, and selfless. And if the people in your life aren't showing you real love, then maybe it's time to leave your money to charity too. Because love can't be bought, but respect can be earned. And my children didn't earn either. Last question, and I want you to really think about this. If you died tomorrow, what would your family say at your funeral? Would they mourn you genuinely? Or would they be planning how to spend your money? And more importantly, would you want to know? Comment your honest answer. Because that's the question that started all of this. I wanted to know, and now I do. For better or worse, I know exactly what my children thought of me. Would you want that knowledge? Think carefully before you answer.